Art says he hasn't got the thing yet.
I don't know his email address. Just tell him I'm going to post it. It's posted. Tell him it's posted. Could you say
on 216 or?
Yeah, 216 Net on Facebook. It's out there. Yes, sir. All right, let's go live. Here we go.
Are you ready? You think you could tell us what to do? You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break the wall
Welcome to Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. This is the ultimate show about sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. Learn the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs of every storyline and talent on each platform. Join our good friends Tim and Tom for all of everything you need to know. Of course, that's not Tim sitting there, but it is Tom and our good friend from the Outdoor Theater, Mr. Scott Dean. Welcome back, man. We just kept you in the seat.
Stay here for a week.
Well, that's kind of
I love it here.
I just came up and hey, I couldn't find someone to join the show, and you want to talk pro wrestling? He's like, I love her.
Please.
Seriously.
Right. If you want to join in, be part of the show, there is a link right there. https://streamyard.com/JVMIL3GBFP. Copy that, put it right in your URL. So if you're out there, Art, grab that, put that in your URL, and we'll bring you in.
Art's one of my brothers.
Oh.
So sometimes when Tim's not on a show, Art will join in, or my brother Dave, he was busy tonight. He had, I guess, better things to do than talk pro wrestling.
He's got a kid graduating and stuff like
his
that.
kid graduated Sunday.
I know.
And you know what? His kid didn't talk as long as he did.
No, he sure didn't.
Not 45 minutes, man. His dad, my brother, he talked for, I don't know.
Talk forever.
The best part is when I bring my youngest daughter to church on Sunday and he's out there, and within 5 minutes she falls asleep during the sermon. It's the only time she naps during the week is during
the sermon.
During my brother, her uncle's sermon. It's the best. Okay, we gotta go to church. Sarah's got a nap.
Wow.
And it's funny. It's as soon as he's done, the music starts going, and she's up dancing and celebrating or whatever. But yeah, it's as soon as he starts talking, within 5 minutes she cuddles up on a chair and
that's funny.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe his voice is soothing. I don't know what it is, but maybe I should have her listen to his radio show on Wednesdays at 12,
there you
12:30
go.
And
Experiment
help her sleep.
bit.
Yeah, I'll probably do that during the summer when she's home from school.
That's it.
So,
a lot of stuff going on since we last met.
Yeah, I mean, it has been crazy the last few weeks. I don't know how much you've been paying attention at all or whatnot. It's our first time meeting with them.
I know kind of the periphery of things. But like when we were talking earlier, I mean, I was born in '76, so I grew up during the the heyday of when WrestleMania began, through the '80s, and I mean, really fond memories of matches that I attended and Saturday Night Main Event. I mean, those were good times. I mean,
back then the storytelling was so much more, I don't want to say realistic, but you're more emotionally involved into
absolutely it. Yeah, you were. And the rivalries, I was so fixated on the Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man rivalry that went on, or Tito Santana and Macho Man, British Bulldogs and the Dream Team, Brutus Beefcake and
Greg the Hammer
Valentine. I mean, that was. And they went on forever.
Right.
Oh, I mean, that was just
that was kind of best where it's those matches, they would always go to the time limit.
Right.
And then it's all of a sudden the bell rings and okay, we're going to have another match because this wasn't settled. And then that next match will go to the time limit too. And then usually get resolved at the pay-per-view
exactly,
or whatever. And
exactly.
You're more emotionally invested in those.
Yeah, I'm super excited because I don't have many people that I know that I can talk to about, hey, remember when this happened, back in the wrestling world?
Yeah.
So now, I have my opportunity. I have years of questions to see, did this really happen or did I imagine it type situations
Right.
with different performers and stuff. So like this is a dream. come
Yeah.
true,
Oh, this,
man.
this
I
hey,
got
we're on every other,
Yeah.
the second and fourth Tuesdays.
oh well, this is
So tune in or show up.
Yeah, right after Bremer and Jones, we're
Yeah.
second, fourth Tuesday a month. We'll always be on, and
I'm there.
sometimes if there's an occasional like special pay per view like WrestleMania, we did like
Oh,
an
yeah.
off week on that one because there's so much to talk about with that. And
I'll be the fanboy outside the studio waiting for you to
Hey, come
leave.
on in,
Get my
man.
picture
You
taken.
got it.
it's fine. So yeah, one of the top things I want to talk about tonight was yesterday was the 23rd anniversary of Owen Hart's passing. I mean, that's 23 years. And right now, AEW is doing the Owen Hart Memorial Cup for him, a tournament in his honor, because Martha, his wife, his widow, doesn't want anything involved with WWE. And that's where AEW came in the picture and had a lot of guys that came from the Stampede and respected Owen and wrestled with him before. When I give him that tribute, and she agreed to, okay, we can do this tournament in his honor because it's not WWE affiliated.
Right.
And I mean, it's been like a few of the matches. There was FTR, the tag team, they went against each other. They pretty much took everything from like the Owen and Bret Hart match from WrestleMania 10
Yeah.
and a couple other Bret Hart matches as a tribute to the late Owen Hart. And it's just kind of funny, or not funny, but like, I don't know, the emotion behind it, like re-seeing it again, it's like, oh, I missed that. I missed that performer and what he meant to this industry.
Right. I still when we were talking earlier, 20. I can't believe it's been 23 years. That's one of those moments that feels like it just happened yesterday.
Right.
Like you remember where you were
Yep,
when you heard about
definitely.
it, and wow, unbelievable.
It was the over the edge pay-per-view at Kemper Arena in Kansas City. And I remember it was Sunday night. Before then, I mean, I think internet was just coming in. I mean, I remember we still had the infant stage. Yeah, because like we had like I remember the dial-up internet or whatever. So I remember that Monday morning.
Yeah.
I was watching WGN Morning News,
Oh,
and I think it was like Mike Bars, or I think he was one that was actually reporting on it. And I was like, what? And I was just like emotionally distraught. My mom was like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong with it? They said like Owen Hart died. And like Bret Hart's my all-time favorite wrestler, his little brother. And like, I was just like heartbroken over this. So like, I don't even want to go to school. Because like how like these guys mean to us. I mean, we watch them week after week, multiple times a week. I mean, they don't know us, but we know them.
Right.
And I mean, in a way, they're almost kind of like our family in a way.
Sure.
Because we're watching the home videos in a way and that kind of stuff. And I just remember being like distraught about that. And I mean, that was probably the hardest one on me.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I remember from when I was watching from being very young, watching, because it wasn't just the matches, but it was the connection you made. Like you would always make a connection with the personality that spoke to you.
Right.
So it wasn't so much that you were watching a television show. Like watching Wonder Years was watching a television show, but watching wrestling, you were visiting with the people that you that reached out to you, that meant something to you. So it was more of a visit than it was a viewing. So yeah, it's pretty personal. So,
and I remember like going to my brother Dave when he went to Valparaiso for college. They once a year would have an event there for WWF would show up, and like you get the house card or whatever. But like this one time, I just remember they were doing like weeks ahead, practicing, like rehearsing for like the upcoming pay-per-view and like the next few Raws and stuff.
Wow.
And like I remember like seeing like Owen goofing around with Jerry Lawler and a couple of like the good guys. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what's going on? And like the wrestlers were like out in the back, just like interacting with all the college kids and just being normal and playful and fun. I was like, oh wow,
So-
like this is like a camaraderie.
So
and
23 years ago, you were how old?
23 years ago, I think I was a junior in high school. Hey, there's another art. Yeah, we're talking about Owen. I'm not sure if you've heard any of that yet, but if you're
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I only caught the last couple of minutes though.
So yeah, so what I was saying, Art, is yesterday was the 23rd anniversary of the passing of Owen Hart, and like how that was probably one of the biggest wrestler deaths that impacted me personally. I don't know about yourself, but I know like he was also a Bret Hart fan. If you like to chime
He's
in,
got his Ultimate Warrior shirt on.
I do, yeah. My Bret Hart shirts unfortunately don't fit me anymore. Yeah, no, it was definitely, it was both. It was because it felt personal, and then the other thing that was really different about it was that it happened on a live pay-per-view,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which made it made it a very different thing, because if you were watching the pay-per-view, you saw it happen live, and it also, I mean, it was a terrible tragedy, obviously, but it also affected the way that those of us who had been watching wrestling watched wrestling going forward, because now you had something that was an actual, real, tragic event that happened right in the middle of a show, and it wasn't fake, and it really brought in this level of reality which hadn't been present prior to that point, right? And it was also, it's a different event, but this was also only about a year and a half after the Montreal screw job too. So it wasn't just the effect and the loss of Owen, because yeah, Owen was one of our favorite wrestlers to watch, even though that in and of itself is enough of a tragedy that he died young, and left a young widow and his children. But the impact it just had on consuming wrestling, I think. I don't know. I mean, it made a huge difference to me. It was one of the things that really shifted me away from watching wrestling after the fact.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
And to explain to our viewers what happened, Owen Hart was dressed up as a character known as the Blue Blazer. He was mimicking what Sting would do in WCW, where he would come up from the rafters, down a rope, and his rope broke. And some fans were thinking like, "Oh, this is just a stunt. It looked like a dummy." Or
That's
whatever.
what you thought it was. Yeah.
And because just the way how his gimmick was a comic in a way with the Blue Blazer, it was just a goofy superhero that couldn't win. But then like when they cut the cameras off, and like Jim Ross had to like explain what was going on, and then Vince McMahon made the executive decision that the show must go on, even though they knew he passed on the way to the hospital. But what happened? Yeah, his rope broke his neck hitting the rope.
So Vince made that decision. He knew that he had passed away when he.
Right.
Wow, I didn't. Okay.
And that's where Martha, his ex, Owen's widow, was super pissed with Vince, and would not let them use any of his likeness or images ever. That's why Owen's not in the Hall of Fame. Mainly because of Martha. But that's where AEW is able to get to show pictures and old videos and stuff to bring back his legacy in a way.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting time, because I'd have been 30, and we were watching it, and you were just like, "No, that's part of the show, guys." When it happened,
right,
you're like, "Oh no, that's part of the show. They wouldn't do that, you know." And then when you found out, you were like, "What?" It was Kelsey, how are you? Good.
Hey, Kelsey, long time no see.
Yeah. So 23 years just seems like yesterday for a lot of us. I was never, to be honest with you, I was never a big Owen Hart fan. And I don't know why. I never connected with him. And I did like Brett. He wasn't my favorite either, but he was.
That's because you like the guy that ended Brett's career.
That's right. That's right.
Wait, you're a big Goldberg fan?
That's right. Yeah.
Kent, I just lost a lot of respect for you.
Oh yeah, I love me and Goldberg. I even watch the Goldbergs on the TV.
That's where he should stay. He is perfect for that show. He's got to stay out of the ring.
That's right. No, we love the Goldberg. He came in right at the right time. Anyway, it was something else, but you're right, Art. It absolutely changed. It pivoted everything, and you were like, oh, these guys are really putting their life out there for some of these things, and this isn't just scripted stuff.
I was like, who was the one? Excuse me, because I don't know this. Maybe this is really well known, but I remember there was a big deal about some big wrestler who he'd never been on the top rope before. Got on the top rope and his knee, like you could see the snap.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. But there was he never should have been up there to begin with.
And Brock Lesnar had a similar situation at, I think it was WrestleMania 20 against Kurt Angle, where he did a moonsault.
Yeah.
It wasn't 20, it was 19. Where he did a moonsault, and they're like, "You're a big guy, you don't have to do this spot." He's like, "No, I'm young, I want to do it. I want to do the spot." Landed on his head. Luckily, didn't break his neck. I mean, he did some damage
because he doesn't have a neck.
That could be why too.
Well, the same with Rick Rude too. That his career ended. I mean, he went through the pain.
Right.
He finished the last.
Yeah, he had, because I think his last match was against Sting.
And and that was outside the ring, and his back.
His back was in horrible shape. Perfect. Mr. Kurt Hennig, he was another one. His back was just shot,
gone. Yeah.
And going back to the whole Owen thing, I remember what was it was I think not even like a year before is when we lost Brian Pillman.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it was like after Owen, it was like there was just this avalanche of wrestlers dying like every year. I mean, it seemed like every week there was almost a new tribute show for all these wrestlers. And I was like, it's like all the guys I grew up watching are just now passing like left and right. I'm like, these guys are in their 40s. Like that's not right.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. But that's the joy of wrestling and sports entertainment, folks.
Didn't someone else just recently break their neck?
Big E.
Yeah,
Big E. Yeah, he was just a botched move, and against a guy who's pretty green. Hasn't been in big leagues for about a year, and just didn't fully land properly. It's two big guys doing moves they shouldn't be doing against each other. Usually you want your big guy doing like the power moves against a smaller guy because they're lighter weight. It's easier to throw and it's easier for them to protect themselves. While the bigger guys are not used to it and aren't used to falling that way or even being lifted up over someone's shoulders and power bombed. But so as we transition on to other stuff, let's see. This weekend we have a AEW pay-per-view coming up, Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. Here the main event is CM Punk versus Adam Hangman Page. Do you know anything about Adam Hangman Page?
I do not.
Most people don't, and he is the AEW champion, which is kind of
really.
I'm like Tim and I were like, I'm more AEW, he's more WWE, and even I'm like, he's not really the champion. Like he's never on TV, and when he is, no one's watching. I mean, your champion should be MJF right now.
Yeah,
that's who everyone tunes in to watch. He is lit up Punk on the mic. He's like one of the few guys that can do that. So he should be the champ.
In name only, basically.
Right. And it's like because he was one of the original guys, one of the four pillars is what they refer to him as. But it's like he's now acting like the bad guy against Punk, who Punk has been what everything Triple H said he was. He's a sellout, all about the money and himself. And he is not about the whole like for the business kind of thing. And I mean, I've been pretty much anti-Punk since he's come back.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of excited when he first came back, but then it's like what he's doing now. He's doing everything that he hated back when he was in WWE. He hated the part-timers.
Turned on him.
Right.
Big time.
He's now like all of a sudden becomes like when Hulk Hogan went to WCW, I can never lose. Like it's in my contract. You can't pin me and I kick out of everything. And it's like now it's just like you watch him and it's like, really?
Right.
You're going to win again? Like
everybody has a price.
Wardlow gave him like 7 power bombs. Wardlow's this big, powerful guy that's like the next Goldberg. Better.
Everybody has a price.
Yes, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase said that. Tony Khan has given Punk the money, and he took it, and I'm not liking it at all.
Sellout.
He's a sellout. He's doing everything against, and I don't care for all those politically correct shirts that he's wearing now either. It's like keep the politics out of wrestling. Yeah. I mean, look what it did to the NBA. Look what's done to other like the NFL and stuff. Keep the politics out.
Nothing's happened.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Who watches it anymore? You know, but what do I know?
That's
Tom, I have a question for you. Since you're the AEW guy, do they run shows other than the 2 shows a week they do for TV?
There's one more called Dark. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
That's kind of like the guys that don't get broadcast a lot. And they bought Ring of Honor recently, where they are talking about doing another show. Kind of will be like NXT in a way.
Okay.
Ring of Honor talent and some veterans.
So if this guy Adam Page is their champion and he's never on TV, he's never getting seen at all, practically.
Pretty much what they do is it's CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, MJF, and Sting. They are pretty much always on.
And Sting is 935 years old
and still jumping off rafters.
I swear to God. You got man boobs look like saddlebags on a Harley.
But speaking of old generation wrestlers, Ken, did you hear about Ric Flair?
What about? Yeah, he got back in the ring.
He got medically cleared, and he is having one final match in Jim Crockett Promotion.
And he is 75, literally.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I saw him working out, and of course I follow him on a lot of social media because right, he's the nature boy, I was like, what the heck is going on? Why? I mean, he's really going at it here in the ring. He's getting back in shape.
He's training with Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal, right?
Machismo.
Yep. And he's coming back. I'm very excited about that. But he's 75. I mean,
when is he coming back? Because they got to kind of do this quickly, don't
they?
It's in July. It's I think right before SummerSlam.
Yeah, right before.
And originally it was going to be Ricky Steamboat as an opponent, but Ricky's now backed out.
Yes, that's because Ricky Steamboat is smart.
Well, is that
answer to that question? Yes, that is because Ricky Steamboat is smart.
Yeah.
And he understands that he doesn't need to do this.
Yeah.
Steamboat still looks good. Have you seen?
He's
great.
Now, if I was my next opponent for Nature Boy would be Sting. Get Sting out there.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, Sting can at least still move. Hogan can't.
No, Hogan can't. No. Yeah. They're buddies. They go out drinking all the time.
I mean, I don't even know if I want to see a 75-year-old Ric Flair in tights.
You want to see the Speedo? You want to see his
No.
You want to see the
I don't need him styling and profiling at 75.
Right.
But,
Thanks for that picture. Now
I'm just saying that's what you're gonna see. That because that's all he knows how to do now.
That's it. He won't be getting anybody in the figure 4. For sure.
No.
And then the next AEW pay-per-view is actually in Chicago, end of June 26th. That one sold out within like 5 minutes.
Where's that at?
That's going to be at the United Center.
Oh, wow.
It's called the Forbidden Door, where they are joining forces with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Really?
So it's the first time where you had two major promotions really combining their rosters for a pay-per-view event.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's why it's called Forbidden Door, because a lot of times that stuff just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So they worked out a deal where it looks like those guys are going to be wrestling each other in these dream matches that like the underground wrestling fans that go and dig through the dark tunnels of YouTube watching have been fantasizing about. So
when is that?
That's June 26th. That's a Sunday.
No way.
And
I think we still need to get SummerSlam out at the drive-in.
Hey. The more I sit here, the more I'm thinking of it. It's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea.
You'll get the fans there.
You would.
We could do a live show. Before pre-show.
Yeah. We could have the guys from the VFW. Come over. Do a live, set up the ring and do a live show right there.
Yeah, the guys from the VFW, you can have Ric Flair show up. I'm sure he'll take a paycheck for whatever you want to give him.
What cracks me up with that show, with the AEW one, is they sold out in 5 minutes. Hell in a Cell's at Allstate Arena next Sunday. They're still trying to sell tickets.
Really?
Like no one's buying them. Roman Reigns is wrestling.
Yeah. If you're
not having the championship being showcased at all.
Right.
Right now it's just not good for WWE in terms of the buy rates, and I could see them blacking out a whole section again to make it look like there's more people there than actually there is. And I know Tim Santos, my co-host, he's going to it. And before he was saying like how he'd almost prefer to watch it from home because you can't see anything when you're there with that cage structure. It's not the old fashioned blue cage where you had the big square for easy climbing and for the camera to show through. Now it's a chain link fence. It's really hard to see. It's almost as bad as the Pagami prison match where you can't see anything, especially in person.
I think you can just say pajama prison
Pajama.
match.
Well, and why do you think AEW sold out that fast? Is it still primarily CM Punk, or is
It's not
there?
CM Punk. AEW always sells out faster in Chicago. They had their first pay-per-view here in Chicago, and their last one, All or Nothing, a year ago, where he had the debut of Bryan Danielson, CM Punk. Well, CM Punk came back that Friday, and Adam Cole. Like when you had all them come out, I mean, Chicago loves wrestling or wrestling. I mean,
that's
It's always
Yeah.
it was good for WCW. I mean, they're usually good for WWE. The more PG WWE has gotten, they've kind of digressed. But the Attitude Era, I mean,
That's
those Raw tickets, SmackDown tickets, those sold out instantly. House shows didn't matter.
Wow.
But
Where is AEW going to be at?
we had
Tom, did you hear that?
What was that? I can't hear nothing.
Sorry, because you said WWE is going to be at the Allstate Arena. Where is the
AEW is going to
AEW
be at the United Center this time.
at the United Center? Okay.
Usually they had their events at like the Sears Center in Hoffman Estates.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Their last couple events were actually in Chicago at Wintrust Arena where DePaul plays.
Right.
I think that was more because once they signed Punk closer to his house, and like, okay, let's get into Chicago. And I think the issue that they had last time was with all the COVID and pandemic stuff. They couldn't really, I mean, everyone had to be vaccinated to go to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just more pains in the butt kind of stuff. As I wait for Kent to get to his little soundtrack, I want to thank our guest here from Drive-In. Thanks for joining
Scott,
us. Scott,
Scott Bean.
Right.
That's
So
it.
tell us a little bit about your business.
I own the McHenry Outdoor Theater, so
Okay.
I'm in the movie business.
All right.
Yeah.
Movie business and a big wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I drive by, I see all the signs out there, especially Kenny's Flooring. And,
Yep. Yeah. So.
Get Tom's Productions out there.
And Tom's Production. Yeah, I got to get a Tom's Productions banner out there. Make your banner.
Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it. It's all about control, and if you can take it.
Yes. Time to play the game. Best of, worst of, right here on Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. Today, the topic is best storyline ever and the worst storyline ever.
Would you like to
Go.
go first?
Best storyline ever?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best, but my favorite would be. Do you remember? What was it? Dangerous Danny.
Dangerous Danny Davis.
the ref going rogue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the heel ref.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Tom, where are you going?
For me, it's the whole Macho Man Elizabeth love story.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that I like them together, then him accusing of her with Hogan, and they break up, and he's with Sensational Sherry. Then I just remember my dad crying at WrestleMania 8, where it's the retirement match between Macho Man and the Ultimate Warrior, and Macho Man loses, and there's Sherry just kicking him in the ring. And all of a sudden, Elizabeth jumps out of the crowd and beats the crap out of Sherry. And my dad is just pouting. I'm like, why are you crying? It's so beautiful. Like that they're back together or whatever.
It's beautiful. Two women beating each other.
It's like true love kind
the
of
best
thing.
little nugget to that one was remember the one match where the winner got to keep Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah.
With Georgiana
Georgiana
Steele,
Steele, and he just
gets
picks her up.
yeah.
Picture it.
I felt so good for him at that.
And what was funny is like not knowing now, but like, or knowing now, not knowing then, or we're watching like the AEW biography or whatever, where that's a time where Macho Man and Elizabeth were having marital problems.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really well known then, but it's kind of like they're forcing them to kind of get back together when they're not feeling it.
Right.
But that was the brilliance of the writing back then. They took real life shit, alcoholism, all that good stuff with Scott Hall. Yeah. What do you got, Art?
Well, I'm trying to think now, because I mean that was the first. What Tom just said is the first one that came to my mind.
That's why I said right before.
You guys are brothers.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about that one too, though, is also, if you think about it, that ran for well over, it was like 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Which do they even do storylines that long nowadays?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
A couple months.
just crazy how much they were able to keep building upon that, building upon that.
Yeah. Worst?
Well, I'm still trying to think of a best here.
Okay. My best.
I'll give you one other one. Ravishing Rick Rude, ravishing Jake the Snake Roberts' wife.
Yes. Where you got the tights all sublimated with
Yes.
on it.
Yeah.
That was if you ever saw any of those matches, that was that they milked that one
Yeah.
to the house. So,
Yeah, great mustache.
Yep.
Oh, the
Rabbit.
best.
Oh,
Yeah.
My best, it changed wrestling. It's just the NWO, the original NWO, Scott Hall, that whole thing. It really turned, I think, the sport in a different direction,
right.
Which was amazing. Now, later when they tried to keep adding people, to the, X-Pac and all, whatever.
Scott Norton,
Buff
Bagwell,
Conan, then it got, when they were trying to hold on. So I think it's the best and the worst because they tried to play it out too long and they tried to keep it alive too long.
Right.
Then the wolf pack, it just was like, come on.
So when would you say jump the shark?
That's a good question. I would say once you started adding people from the original, the original 4, right?
Yeah.
even like more towards the wolf pack.
Right. Yeah. More
And
towards
also
the
like,
wolf pack.
okay, now we're splitting the NWO. Now we're going to have NWO Black and White, NWO Wolf Pack, and now also like Steen, who said he's never going to join the NWO, is now on the Wolf Pack, which didn't make any sense.
Right.
Well, I would argue it goes all the way back to effectively everybody after Hogan, because because part of the thrill of the original storyline was that it was the WWF guys against the WCW guys.
Yeah.
Right. That was a large part of the driving part of that storyline. Especially very early with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Are they actually part of WCW, or are they invading from the outside? And I would agree with you, Kent, that I think it's the best invasion storyline that's been ever done.
Yeah.
And on top of the whole pre-internet.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really find out. You had no idea what was going on.
Right.
I mean, you had to watch that.
Yeah.
That Saturday.
Well, and the way that they were playing off of, because they were doing it, that was in the Monday Night Wars. So like they'd have Kevin Nash and Scott Hall on Raw, and then they show up on the live Nitro broadcast, right on the very same night that they're on Raw.
Well, no, that was Rude and.
No, they had Nash and Hall were on Raw because Raw was still being taped at that time.
They were, but no, you're wrong. We're going to watch the network. I'm going to prove you wrong. No, that was Rick Rude that was on this Raw the same night. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall weren't. What they did have Razor Ramon and Diesel on Raw at the same time, played by different wrestlers, but they didn't have actual Scott Hall and Kevin Nash on Raw.
Well, unlike you, I haven't watched it in 27 years, so you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Art stopped watching WWF at the time after WrestleMania 9.
After 9.
Okay, that is not true, but we'll go with that. He likes repeating that story. It's not true.
That's when he pretty much stopped watching. He would occasionally come back and watch some WrestleMania.
That's completely not true.
It's my show. It is 100% true.
It is completely
mute his mic, Kent.
Completely the opposite of true. That's how not true it is.
Oh, wait.
So when did you stop watching wrestling, Art?
2005.
As before that.
No, it wasn't.
And actually, it was 2006 when you went to WrestleMania 22.
Yes, well,
Even
2006. There you go.
That was the last time he went to a show.
year.
He
I could
stopped
just
watching
listen.
before.
Now here's the interesting thing. Art's read every one of those books. I could just do you three brothers just sit around and try to knock each other down and say, wait, you're wrong, I'm right. Wait, no, here.
Of course.
No,
guys
it's mainly the younger brother who's insecure about everything who tries to do that all the time.
I'm insecure about nothing. I was daddy's little princess, and you know it.
Yeah, exactly. My point exactly.
You guys need a cage match.
We actually did it before our dad's old apartment. There was a fence, and we would have our cage matches there. And one time, I went to climb it, and I had gray sweatpants on, and
Rip.
Yep, right. Caught the latch and jumped down and.
What happened here? That's awesome. All right, the worst. What are you guys going with? Worst storyline? You got mine, and did I hear anybody else with the worst?
The worst for me, I mean, it was. I didn't like the whole Vince McMahon blowing himself up angle.
Oh, I forgot
that
about
was
that.
right around the time Chris Benoit had the murder suicide
Yeah.
stuff, and they kind of like, okay, this didn't happen out of whatever, and it was just like out of bad taste, and
Yeah.
they like redid all that.
Yeah, some of his timing is never. Some was good, some was not.
And the other ones I didn't like the whole when Jim Neidhart Neidhart died, and they're like using that with Natty's storyline with her dad. And, like they're doing cardboard cutouts of them, and like the female wrestlers that get heat are just like destroying it in front of like his daughter. Like I hate that kind of stuff. I mean, they did it with Eddie Guerrero too. I mean, Vince has a history of doing it with when the guy dies,
Oh my God.
involve him in a storyline somehow, even though he may think like, okay, it's gonna actually create dollars or whatever, or give the guy one last run,
Right.
post run or whatever. But it's still like it's a bad taste.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Right.
My pick for the worst would be one that was basically over before it ever even started, and that would be, I believe, again, here you go, Tom. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I will
The
grab
the Shockmaster.
The what?
the shock.
You remember the Shockmaster,
I
right?
don't.
That was Tugboat Thomas
Yes.
making his WCW debut with a Sting and a British Bulldog. He was going to join their team. And what he pretty much took a stormtrooper helmet, spray painted it with glitter, went to break through a wall live, tripped.
It tripped coming out of the wall.
Davey Boy says, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, and the stormtrooper helmet rolled off his head because he's lying face planting on the floor. Yeah, and they had built this up for like weeks. This big reveal: who's the Shockmaster? And, yeah,
It's almost as bad as the gobbledygooker.
yes.
What's inside the egg?
Hey, I marvel too. I'm like, what? He's like, no, it was June 13th. And here's here. He knows.
I know when he stopped watching wrestling. I know
You got the dates,
when
the
he started
times.
watching.
I know, it's so crazy. That's it.
Wow.
Hey Ted, love you too. Thanks for watching.
Yeah,
Chime
yeah.
in anytime.
That's right. Crazy. All right, you got where are you going with the worst, Tom? Did you?
Oh, that's right.
You go the Wolfpack?
No, mine was more the Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah, you
the
did just say
tragedy.
that. I
don't
wasn't
like
paying
that kind of
attention.
stuff. I know that's
I was marveled at your ability for the Shockmaster or whatever that was. How about you, Scott? What do you
Well,
got?
I would say I don't know if it was really a storyline. I just remember watching it, like even at a young age, being in disbelief about how just cheesy, awful it was. I think it was Sting where he brought out RoboCop.
Oh yeah, promoting a movie.
Right, but they played it up like it wasn't done for laughs. It was done like RoboCop's got my back type, and he comes out and being a movie guy, I'm like, that's not Peter Weller, you know. And it's just the blending of, I mean, wrestling was a show, you know, it's scripted, and now you're bringing in an outside fictional character. It just was like oil and water.
Right.
That's really anytime they bring in the Hollywood, you know, like every Hollywood actor wants to be the wrestler, every wrestler wants to be a Hollywood actor. It just never worked for me.
I did.
It does occasionally.
Okay, well, yeah,
But I mean, like Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania this year, I thought that was gonna be a bomb.
That
was my favorite match of WrestleMania.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was a jackass match, and I mean,
really?
what they did with Sami Zayn, I mean, I was laughing my ass off. I mean, it was something like.
But maybe
It
that
is,
worked
man.
because Johnny Knoxville he didn't originate with Hollywood.
Right.
He was more of he was doing a show too.
Right.
Maybe that's why that worked. But when they started bringing in I feel like I can't remember some of them, but the storylines were always maybe the storylines were dumbed down, but the action was really dumbed down so that it would work for them. And
because I know like WrestleMania, I mean, ever since WrestleMania first started with Vince, he tried to have the entertainment industry involved somehow. So like he had Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T.
Mr. T, yeah.
And so then he'd have his guys go on the A team to be with Mr. T and then cross promote or go on MTV. Yeah. And it's like every year for WrestleMania now, he tries to get some type of celebrity involved. Like last year or 2 years ago, it was Bad Bunny, the rapper or whatever. It's like, oh, this guy's going shit his pants or whatever. But he actually did a good job.
And now he's becoming a huge star too. Right. He's got his own HBO show.
Yeah. And it's just kind of funny where you get some where it's like you had Snooki do an appearance. It's like, what was that? Like, no one's there.
But I'll tell you what, Rodman and Mailman was a pretty good show.
And how that was incorporated in the NBA Finals too, and like their commissioner was getting pissed off with that.
I'm actually amazed we've gotten this far in this discussion with nobody bringing up David Arquette as the WCW World Champion.
David Arquette.
There's some things you just want to black out, Arthur.
That's right.
But what's funny about David Arquette though is he didn't even want the championship because after he won it, he found out Booker T never won it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You've been here how long, and you've never won this thing?" Like he felt ashamed by that.
Yeah.
And I give him props now because David Arquette, he is now big in the independent scene.
Yes,
he's wrestling and he's trying to work his way up in the ladder, the real way, and the right way in a way. And I mean, he loves the business and trying to do what he can. But when he found out Booker T never won or was even given a chance,
it was just a bad idea to give it to him.
Right
when they gave it to him. I mean, that's another in the running for worst storyline, I would argue.
I mean, that's where it's kind of like similar like what Vince does, where like when The Rock comes back or Brock Lesnar comes back, he gives them the belt because they're going to go showcase it wherever Batista in Hollywood. Like they're going to win the belt and they're going to go over the red carpets and you're going to see the belt now. But at least when he does that, he's giving it to guys that are talented, while WCW to a guy who was playing one in a movie
just for promotion.
Yeah, I mean, The Rock and Brock Lesnar and Batista they've all done it. They've all gotten the belt in the industry already. So to give it to them again isn't it's not a slap in the face.
Well, I mean, that's full timers feel it's a slap in the face because they just hand it to a part timer. Not realizing this guy worked his ass off for years to be in that position.
Well, and no, I mean, nobody can call The Rock a part-timer, even if he's only coming back a couple times a year.
He's still on the active roster.
But he paid his dues for how many years?
Well, what's funny is he was only on the full-time roster for 6 years.
Is that
really? Only 6 years. AJ Styles has now been on the WWE roster longer than The Rock. I mean, yes, he'll occasionally make an appearance once, twice a year or every other year. But as a full-time active roster, AJ Styles now has more time on the roster than The Rock has. And speaking of The Rock, tonight's this season finale of Young Rock. What's going on there? Am I missing something? Oh, I'm cutting out. Oh, I'm sorry. So he is doing his season finale tonight. His show got picked up for a third year, where he's running for president of the United States in 2032. And tonight's where he makes his WWE debut as Rocky Maivia, where they kind of transition that to next season.
Wow.
And I don't know, have you watched any of those shows?
I haven't. No.
It is fascinating where you're getting a lot of the backstory of how it was done in the 80s and 90s pro wrestling with his dad. His grandmother ran the promotion out in Hawaii, and deals she had with Vince. So it's like Vince always had a soft spot for The Rock's family. So that's why you see Roman Reigns gain the push. Yokozuna had the push. I mean,
what is it? What is this on?
It's on NBC or Peacock.
Is it really?
Yeah,
okay.
It's on Tuesday night, 7:00. Tonight's the season finale. You can watch your reruns on Peacock or Hulu. But if you really want to watch like the old school stuff, like they'll have Macho Man Ric Flair on there from back then. Like this guy's playing him as actors and Andre the Giant. Like my favorite episodes where Andre the Giant babysat The Rock one day as a kid.
No.
And he actually did it again too. I guess he's done it multiple times where he babysat The Rock and.
Are you sure that wasn't Andre the Giant?
Probably drinking too.
Right.
But it's just kind of funny. Where it's
Wow.
like, and what I like about the show is I actually think it's setting up not only WrestleMania for next year with him and Roman Reigns, because they had Roman as his younger
Dream
cousin
on.
to show up.
Dream on.
He's running for president. He is going to run for president, and he's going to win president.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that.
He should do it
He should do it right now.
Yeah, 2024. Come on. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, he's going to run and he's going to win. And he's exposing everything he's done as a kid. So like they have no dirt on him.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Why
it's all
would you?
there, yeah.
Why? Listen, you think that All Star Wrestling is fake? Why would you want to be president of the United States?
Right.
He'll be the most electrifying president in all the United States history.
Somebody, I could just see the State of the Union. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
could you?
What'd you say? It doesn't matter what you said. The fact of the matter is.
That's it. A lot of good things happen. And of course, Tom and Tom's Productions, I just put his hat back up there. You can see that. If you own a business and you need it advertised, you need swag, anything like that, you're the guy, right, Tom? How they get in touch with you?
So you can call me at my cell phone, 630-776-9492. That's also my business line. Or send me an email at tom@tomsproductions.com. I'm a hybrid print broker, so I do decorated apparel, I do laser engraving, promotional items. I transfer old VHS tapes to digital and DVDs to digital. You think it, I ink it, kind of thing.
Nice. No way. Yeah, it's awesome. And of course, Scott's here. Scott, if people want to check out a movie, rent out for a party, anything over there, how do they get in touch with you?
Just go to goldenagecinemas.com. You can email me directly from there or message me on the McHenry Outdoor Theater Facebook.
Yeah, always good.
I'm always around. Or
always
in the
good.
theater.
And Art, if people wanted to just wonder what kind of books you were reading or what you do, how they get in touch with you?
It doesn't matter. Turn off his mic. Don't talk to that jabroni.
They can bother my younger brother for my contact information.
Reach out.
No, actually, you can reach out to our other brother, Pastor Dave. If questions you can ask the church. They have their cell phone up there tomorrow, where you could text them. You could ask them anything. So ask them stuff about wrestling. They'll love to answer that.
They'll love it. Absolutely.
And tell them I sent you.
All right. So kind of moving off of the Rock's make-believe show that Tom really enjoys. Let's move into our good friend Stephanie McMahon has taken a leave of absence.
Right.
So this is the first time I've ever heard her taking a break from WWE.
Yeah. What do you got, Art?
I just wanted to say, Kent, you described the make-believe show that he really likes.
I know.
As opposed to all the other make-believe shows that we're talking about tonight.
Wrestling's real to me, damn it.
It's real, right?
Talk about people dying. That stuff's real.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. Just thought I would point that out. Sorry.
Recently, a week or so ago, decided she's taking a leave of absence from the WWE, from her official duties, to focus time on her family. A lot of wrestlers, good and bad guys, heels, faces, as are otherwise known, were sending out like heartfelt messages to her via Twitter and stuff, kind of breaking kayfabe or their character for a more realistic thing to it. And that's what's kind of odd is he's never taken a break since he's been part of WWE.
Since she's been a kid.
I mean, since she's been a kid. I mean, she posed in the magazine wearing the Rockers t-shirt when she was 13. Like, she was always involved in the business. I mean, there was years where her older brother Shane, he'd take sabbaticals. But this is the first time for Stephanie. And a lot of people are saying, like, oh, it's from Triple H's heart attack last year.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Does that mean that he's a little worse off than we thought?
And some, it's like, okay, her kids are getting older. They could do more stuff. It's kind of like the last hurrah before they don't want to do stuff with their parents before they go off to high school and college kind of stuff. So spending summer with them more. The other thing too is during the budget cuts last year, a lot of her assistance and help got released.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's Nick Khan is the president of operations right now for WWE. He's pretty much right under Vince. It's him and John Laurinaitis or Johnny Ace. They're pretty much running the show, and we'll get into them in a little bit. But I mean, that's where it's like the feeling is Nick Khan is there to sell the company, to maximize the profits, so Vince could then get the better deal. And he's not going to give it to Stephanie or Shane like a lot of people were thinking he was. My conspiracy is he's going to sell it to The Rock because the stuff fell to The Rock, and how that would be full circle with watching Young Rock the show, where now here Rock at $7 is now all of a sudden now buying Vince out.
Wow.
Hey, I'll mark it down right now. May 24th, Tom Odell said Rock's buying Vince. But I mean, I think there's a lot of smoke to the fire going on because now Vince and Linda are selling their home in Connecticut, and it's they're
so something's
going
big,
right? Yeah. And they sold the rights to the network a year ago to Peacock, where I mean they were planning on having that for a while, and so they sold all the streaming rights to Peacock, and it's like,
Vince is getting old. He's not looking all that good. He's got
he actually looks better than we did a few years ago. But I mean, right. So I wouldn't be shocked if within a year, I think right after WrestleMania 39 or right around that time is probably when he sells it.
Yeah,
I don't. Where it's going to reach.
I don't. If you think The Rock is going to run for president, I don't think he buys the WWE.
No,
I still think
too easy to debate and kick him around.
I still think he buys it, but he has someone else run it.
Nah.
No?
I don't think so.
And now, speaking of the whole Stephanie leave of absence, where you got Nick Khan and Johnny Ace, Johnny Laurinaitis from Total Divas, if you ever watch that show, they're pretty much running everything. Johnny Ace took over Triple H's talent, vice president of talent operations gig. So recently, we had Sasha Banks and Naomi walk out last week on Raw, or right before the show started.
Yeah,
they were supposed to be involved in a 6-person match. They're the tag team champions, and Naomi was actually supposed to win the match to go on to face Bianca, and Sasha was going to win a different match to go face Ronda, I believe at Hell in a Cell, if I'm corrected. And they didn't like what it was bringing to their characters or what the tag team belts mean. And now they're getting publicly criticized during commentary and other stuff, how unprofessional they were, and now they're suspended, and like they pretty much none of their merchandise is online right now.
Whoops.
And like they're like WWE is like really going hardcore after these two for their unprofessionalism. But then a few months ago, you had Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch throwing belts at each other, real life like tension there, like totally unprofessional on live TV, and nothing happened to them. But because they don't like how they're being portrayed and their characters and what the titles mean to them, and how, I mean, I want to say Fit Finlay has really developed the women's brand in wrestling for the last few years. Because before it was a bathroom break match. Now you're actually in watching this stuff, and they're talented women. And Sasha's one of the best in the business, and she felt like she had to stand her ground, and her Naomi walked out, and now they're being publicly criticized for all of it.
What's the public opinion like? Who's winning the?
It's kind of mixed right now because the issue with Sasha is she already has that crybaby label. So a few years ago, she was scheduled to like lose a match at WrestleMania and didn't like it.
Yeah.
And this time they're trying to portray it where she was scheduled to be in the main event this past WrestleMania, but then Ronda Rousey took her spot.
Huh.
And like when she lost that match a few years ago, she took a break. Like she wanted to quit and all that other stuff. And Vince was like, no, just take a long vacation and come back. We'll have something better for you. And she'd come back and she'd get her way and then start pouting again.
Until something
else happens. She actually has a star power where she could pretty much do anything. She was on The Mandalorian for Disney Channel. She can break away and do other stuff. She was an extra.
Yeah, she didn't have main. She
wasn't
didn't serve the plot much.
But I mean, that's kind of where you start out. You start out
sure,
as
yeah.
I mean, yeah. So
and let's be honest, The Mandalorian was better than the book.
Wait, was she wearing a glittery star?
No, actually, she was. No, she actually had like the robe on, and I think her hair was.
I am interested to see Obi-Wan though. Kenobi, Kenobi one.
Friday.
But yeah, I mean,
a couple of days.
For, like Naomi,
what was that?
Interesting with her is
only a couple of days.
That's right.
We don't talk Star Wars here. So and then Naomi is where like she's married to Jimmy or Jay Uso, one of the Uso brothers, who's Roman Reigns' cousin, who's The Rock's cousin. They're all related to The Rock. So I mean, there's that power there where they're kind of being more lenient with her, because Sasha's more like the one that they're focusing more of the blame on.
Right.
And that's where I just feel it's like a double standard, because a week or two ago you had Sonny involved in a drunk
but if you're
accident that killed someone, and they're still like, oh, you're in the Hall of Fame. Like they ignored that. But because of what Sasha and Naomi did, it's all of a sudden this is truly unprofessional. And it's like almost they're getting blackballed by like, I want to say like almost the CM Punk treatment, and like when Stone Cold walked out years ago,
right?
They're kind of doing that same thing in a way.
Wow. Storylines on storylines, right? Storylines.
But in WWE's defense, I don't think Sasha and Naomi have creative control of their characters. So it's like when you're in that business, you're an independent contractor. You pretty much do what's told of you and asked of you. You're not Brock Lesnar, you're not Hulk Hogan, you're not John Cena, you're not The Rock.
Yeah.
You're not Tom Odell.
You're not Tom Odell. Yeah.
The art says, thank God.
Yeah. And you're not John Laurinaitis, which is probably the problem. But I would suspect.
Yeah, he is the major problem. Yeah. It's just not good what he's doing right now.
He got fired from that position previously, so.
Well, when you're one of Vince's ass kissers, you pretty much are there forever.
What's Bruce Pritchard up to nowadays? Yeah.
Now he's got a podcast. He'll be back. I'm sure enough. But it's also interesting, like going back to our favorite wrestler, The Rock. His schedule's opened up for first quarter of the year next year. So he has no movie commitment.
Why are you creeping on his schedule? It's so weird.
Because I'm one of the millions of The Rock's
fans. I thought Tim would be that guy, but
Tim's not here, so I have to step up and fill for Tim on this part. But yeah, so he's not. He has no movie obligations. There goes my hat again.
It's like Tommy Boy, and I would say you're
right.
But yeah, so that's where I think the dream match is going to happen with Roman Reigns and The Rock, and I think that's around the time when Vince sells, because that you're not going to get any more money than that.
Yeah,
you're going to max out.
Winner gets the company match.
Now there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
You're going to have like Kane and Triple H involved in there in a triple threat.
What if Ric Flair wins?
Ric Flair comes back with one more match.
Years old. And they're going to hit him. He's going to look like a full motion waterbed. However, I do watch some of his old back in the heyday, though. He was all right. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, the heyday 40 years ago.
Yes, I know. That's a bad thing.
So speaking of Nature Boy and flops and chops, you're a guest on our show. I've always said if we get a guest on our show, I will take a live chop if you are willing to do one.
Wait, what?
You can do a Ric Flair chop or a giant slap on me live on camera. We'll stand right here and you can as hard as you can.
This is why he never asked me to be in studio, isn't it?
That's because you hit
that's the reason why.
You're like the wet noodle. I got punched by him before. I was laughing so hard because he was giving me everything he got, and I was just dying laughing because it didn't hurt at all. It tickled.
If you want someone to do that, you got to be a jerk. I like you. I don't want to hit you. Next time when you meet someone, treat them wrong, and then make them want to do that to you. I don't want to do that to you.
See here, you could do it to me, and if you feel that bad, you could buy some printing products for me afterwards.
Well, that's happening anyway. I think. Trust me.
No, but I'm serious.
Treat them wrong.
We need the sound effect for a video, and it helps with views.
What if
Tom, you got to do a better job of selling the storyline.
That's right.
You're not getting enough heat.
Wheel your ass over here, already.
Hey, maybe at SummerSlam at the outdoor theater.
You
could
do
it. There you go.
Nice.
You could do it right there.
Yeah. So there we go.
You could do it for charity. Charity's this small girl.
That's what we
Never
could do.
mind.
We will do a charity out there. I will stand out there. Whoever wants to give $1 or $2 or whatever can come
Chop
up and just
away.
slap me.
Chop away.
They could chop. $1 for a chop.
A chopathon.
$5
Chopathon.
for a giant slap.
Yeah.
$10 for a slap across the face. All the charity.
All to charity.
The kids in town are gonna go crazy.
Think about that. You could raise a lot of money.
You could.
No exes are allowed to attend though. Each one is $100.
That's it.
Well, that would be more entertaining than some of the movies I've shown for sure.
That is awesome. All right, guys, we are right where we need to be this time of the show. Of course, you've been caught in the net. This is 21-6 the net. Let me tell you something, brother. Every second and fourth Tuesday, 7:15 p.m. right here. Scott, thanks for hanging out.
This has been
What a great night.
You're welcome back anytime.
Come back anytime,
I'm
brother.
gonna sleep over here.
Yeah, no, you got it. This place is haunted. I will tell you that. And of course,
Heck, he's
Art, we got. Thanks so much for
No,
jumping
don't
on.
thank him. He's not. No.
This guy.
Mute his mic.
Yeah. This guy brings
Cut the live feed.
somebody's got to be smart. Look at this.
Can we put a live via satellite for Art next time?
Thanks for raising the IQ here tonight, Art.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Get a different shirt next time.
No, I like that. It's actually
Hey.
perfect.
Here, let me.
No, that's the Ultimate Warrior. Not
I
Mr.
know.
Okay.
I love it.
Well,
That's it. Well, and you're expending as much energy as the warrior.
yes, I am. As much energy as the warrior expended in the first 5 seconds of running out to his match.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, that's what I've expended.
That's it. All right, Tom, take us out of here.
Take us out. I never take us out of here. You play the music.
He's saying punch yourself.
That's
Oh, I
right.
got to punch myself.
Give yourself a slap. Here we go. Let's go. Let's beat it.
Oh, that's
Are you ready?
All right, everybody, come back tomorrow right at 9 a.m. for Innovative Strategies with Bill Hussey. Noon 30 questions you never thought you could ask in church.
Ask
Until
him for
then,
wrestling questions, please.
be good, be kind, but more importantly, be good to each other.
Bow to the masters.